Welcome to Talking the Gridiron, your ultimate destination for all things NFL. We're here to deep dive into the heart of football, breaking down the action, the strategies, and the stories that make the NFL so electrifying. From the Sunday showdowns to Monday Night Magic, we're covering every touchdown, tackle, and timeout. So grab your game day snacks, settle into your favorite chair, and join us as we navigate the highs and lows of the gridiron, where the game is always on and the conversation never stops.
And welcome to Talking the Gridiron here, Variety Sports Network, Week 12 recap. Obviously, we got the Rams and the Eagles going at right now on Sunday night. We got a Monday night game as well. But we'll give you some updates there during the game, 7-3. It looks like right now with the Rams leading the Eagles. And we got a lot to get into on a busy Sunday, a dramatic Sunday at the end of the game. It was. You look at the schedule, you're like, yeah, you're just nodding your head at the beginning, like, got a ho-hum. The game's kind of played out that way, it felt like, for the first half, and then it got to that fourth quarter. We had some action-packed moments there. I got, of course, Terrell. He's back with us as well from Real Husband Sports. We'll get his thoughts on that Commanders game here in just a second. Brian the main man Johnson, shaking his head as well for different reasons tonight. Expecting
we're freaking cooked.
And we'll get into that cookie a little bit more. And we got Coach P with us, Mr. Pilato. Like you said, he's in Oklahoma right now, joining us out there with it, coaching his boys out there. Jimmy, we got a big show that we're at. Like I said, we're at week 12 now. This is we're third quarter of the season here. This is kind of where the big boys are starting to show up. We start to make our decisions. We kind of start to play out what it's going to look like. And there was no bigger game than the Commanders today. And I before we let Terrell go with that, like, we've kind of been talking about this team week in and week out, and I feel like we're kind of like, they're there, but it's just like we've had a hard time fully committing to them. And then you have just a magical play, like 88-yard play here to go for a touchdown, and the kicker just steps up and blow it. And I just wonder, going forward, are the Commanders strong enough mentally to sustain this type of loss?
Here's the tough part. You have a rookie quarterback who's now, this is as many games as he's ever played in a season. So the next 5 games are going to be extra that he's never really had to deal with before. It's a young team. I would give them credit. I don't think that they're going to totally fall on their face, like fall flat. Today sucked. If you're a Commanders fan, Terrell, I was hoping, I was praying, I wanted that kick to go in. It seemed like you guys were going to go in, and in overtime it might have been something, but it's just, I think it's a little bit too soon, and we can't just expect everybody to be perfect every week. That's one of the big things that we had to tell our boys, because we're used to steamrolling Colorado, and we went out and we played some teams that could actually stand up to us. Sometimes the other team is good enough to make plays. Sometimes you didn't take advantage of the plays that you had there. You didn't take advantage of what you could have done, and if you don't take advantage of it, week 12 is when you start to separate the men from the boys. Thanksgiving, Tom Brady talked about it. Unfortunately, for some reason, San Francisco was on in Oklahoma instead of Denver. But I had to listen to Tom Brady during the San Francisco game, like, well, if you could be 10-3 by Thanksgiving. It's like, bullshit. Only you were ever always 10-3 by Thanksgiving. Like, this is where we start to separate the men from the boys, but there's still some teams that, they figure themselves out. The Cowboys notwithstanding, because the Cowboys got lucky today. That's going to be one of the last games they win the entire season, because they are god-awful, especially behind Cooper Rush. But you got to take advantage of the opportunities you get at home against a division rival to possibly go 8 wins so far this season. That was a big moment that you let slip away.
Brian, the Commanders, your belief factor, is it starting to fall apart here a little bit? Is losing to the Cowboys enough for you to throw in the towel?
Yeah. I mean, was this the 3rd straight loss they've taken? So
yeah,
they're starting to come back to earth as a team that they're young, but they still got a lot of growing to do to be like considered a serious contender.
Shout out to boy Eck. He's playing his ass off, even though they're not really having much success, and he's not having much success this year.
Terrell, kind of your thoughts of him in the up and down emotion. Just one of those games where, Jimmy had that one earlier this year with the Bengals there, where it went up and back and forth, and then they lost it on a 2-point conversion. Like, those are just heart-wrenching games, and when you're on the other side of it, nothing like stings more. The game was there. You guys were in position to steal it. You have a once-in-a-lifetime play. That just kind of your emotions, and what was your kind of now, like Brian said, losing 3 in a row. How are you feeling about this team?
I feel fine. I had no high expectations for this team at all. I mean, you look at the playmakers on this team, you can't name them on your hand. And we trade for a guy that hasn't played for us yet. He still ain't played yet. You know what I mean? Every game that we lose is a touchdown or less. I mean, obviously, we lost by more than that today, but you know what I mean. It would have been. Like, I mean, it's just like I didn't expect much. As a Redskin fan, I'm used to the field goal kicker missing the extra point or whatnot. Like, these things happen all the time.
It didn't feel different. The magic of this year, it wasn't rubbing off. We're too bitter. We're too bitter from the past, is what you're telling me.
Yeah. Because you're ready for you don't want your hope to just end like every other time.
We get an 88-yard touchdown, and in the back of your mind, you're like, instead of yes, you're like,
everybody was like, you won the game. Yeah, it's tied up overtime. I'm like, we ain't got the kick yet. People don't understand when you say it's not over yet. Most teams don't understand that. As a Redskin fan, that's the whole everything about it.
Also,
it's not over yet.
That's a god-awful secondary in Dallas. They are piss poor, except for a couple plays where they try and jump a route and they actually guess right. That is, the 80-yard touchdown's impressive, but if you're going to get that play against any secondary in the league, you expect to get that play against Dallas because Diggs is going to try and make a hero play. I don't even know if he was in the lineup today. I'm sure that he probably was, but it was a great play. And your boy, like Jaden Daniels, doesn't have any quit in him, doesn't have any less fight in him. Terry McLaurin's been trying to put together some things for a while underneath the last couple quarterbacks, but you can't really take that. You're not going to get that against anybody else in the league.
No, I mean, like where they sit right now, 7-5. Is that
7-5?
7-5. You're the 7th seed currently right now. You'll stay that way even with the Rams if they win this week. If the Eagles do lose, you remain in the fight for the division.
I don't even want to win it. I don't even want to make the playoffs.
No, I just feel like
I want my quarterback healthy and progressing. That's all I want. Healthy and progression, and then Magic and all these owners in our organization can spend money and get some talent on the defensive end and stop getting these retread players like Austin Eckler, which I appreciate your effort amongst others, and get us some real talent, please.
I'm surprised. Don't want to make the playoffs though. I mean, consider. I get what you're saying, but
would you want the Raiders to make the playoffs?
That'd be a magical run at the end.
No, you don't.
I Minshew and what Spencer Rattler.
You want to miss the playoffs and get Shador to be your quarterback. That's what you want for the Raiders.
Well, Shador's lucky he didn't get his right leg absolutely murdered yesterday after that.
Should have been a penalty, but that wouldn't have changed the outcome of the game. But that was definitely roughing the passer.
No doubt about it. That was for sure. So the Cowboys do win 34-26. It really just does nothing but kind of affect the Commanders here with a playoff picture. If they go 8-4, obviously their chances really are looking pretty good. A win they will probably want back when they look back at this. They're there with it. All right, let's get to it. Buzzer beating Chiefs. They get it done again at the buzzer against the weak Panthers. Young showed a little signs. He showed some signs, guys. There, baby. Had a couple clutch plays, couple clutch throws. They got the 2-point conversion there at the end. What did you think, Jimmy, with the Chiefs there? Another buzzer beater.
Bryce Young's going to look really good in black and silver. He's going to look really good in Las Vegas because that's all he's doing right now is he's playing himself to whatever next team is going to pick him up. If the Raiders don't get the ability to draft a quarterback, they're one of the franchises that I can see lining up for the former number 1 overall pick. Give him credit because he's playing with nothing. Like, they've totally shipped everything. The cupboards are bare. Old Mother Hubbard has nothing left in her cupboard in Carolina, and the ownership sucks, and it's a terrible situation. But, damn it, that was almost 3. I think they're coming off their bye, and they maybe lost last week coming off their bye. But that would have been 3 out of the last 4 wins, and especially against the Chiefs, who everybody knows is it's hard for me to say this with full 100% confidence, but right now they seem just like a paper tiger. They're very good at taking advantage of situations that they're given to them. But hell, Hubbard scored me 21 points in fantasy. Like, Chubb Hubbard has had a decent season, but you give me 21 points against the Chiefs defense? Okay, I'm paying attention now.
What do you think, Terrell? The Chiefs, like I said, another buzzer beater. They're 10-1. Lions are 10-1. Chiefs just kind of ho-humming in this way around it. But Does it? I guess for me, I guess the reason I bring it up early in the show is, I guess it continues for me to show that yes, it's impressive they can win these close games, but at some point you got to start showing signs of separating from teams, and then I know you can win those. Are you concerned? Are you just like, no, win's a win? Like, I don't know. How are we feeling against? They're the two-time champs, so it's just whatever.
But,
they get to the
it's all different. It's different for what team you're talking about. If you're talking about my team to win certain ones in a row, it is a big deal to look bad and win like we did against Chicago. The Hail Mary. We're not talking about the Hail Mary win no more. We're talking about today's missed extra point loss. You know what I mean? That's my organization. But for the Chiefs, excellence, winning 2 in a row, destroying teams, and you're barely winning each week. Each week is like against weaker competition. This is scary. This shows me that it's over. It's over. Somebody's going to get the monkey off their back. Lamar in Baltimore or Buffalo is finally going to get their spot. That's what it is.
And don't sniff on the Chargers, man.
Yeah.
I think they're a year too much.
We kind of
It's
talked about
Josh Allen's time. Josh Allen's time.
We talked about that a little bit last week on one of our talks. Like, would the Chargers be the team, like a surprise AFC contender outside the Chiefs?
I mean,
they're playing the Ravens tomorrow night. If they can put up an impressive performance on them, then you gotta say they're a realistic threat to the Chiefs.
Yeah, but that's
the winner is.
They're still 2 games behind in the division against the Chiefs right now because they have 3 losses, and the Chiefs, while they're giving everybody all the momentum and all the ammunition to fire at them, they're still 2 games ahead. And the Chargers have had a couple games this year where, we were talking about it last week, and I said I wasn't going to get my hopes up, and I was starting to look at my ex again, and she was looking good in the second half. But what did I say? There's no way that they're going to complete this. They tied it, and the Chargers let them come back and tie it. And thank God that the Bengals are just god awful in the fourth quarter because holy shit. But they're still like if tomorrow happens, if tomorrow comes out and they play a whole better game than they did against the Bengals, like don't give up a big lead in the second half, maybe I can start looking at them a little bit more. But right now the Chiefs really aren't given, outside of like conversationally, the Chiefs aren't giving them any opening.
Are we underrating their defense a little bit, though? I mean, I know we all say they're great, but are we still like? I don't know. I'm just like trying to think because I'm looking like Mahomes he's still having a solid year, but like 15 touchdowns, 11 interceptions isn't really what you're used to from him, and he's been like he still makes the magic plays. It feels like at times, like today, running for like what he needs to get the win. But it does feel like everything's
around him because there was like 4 or 5 DBs that literally ran away from him as he was going towards the sideline.
Buddy on the game, maybe there. I don't know. Like, so that's interesting with me. Is like I love how you guys say Bryce Young might be a Raider though.
I don't. It's Shador.
It should be Shador.
Yeah. They're going to be in a good enough spot. He's not going to go to the Raiders. The thought did cross my mind today when he was playing pretty well. Mark Davis would love to get a former number 1 overall pick in the room if he doesn't get the number 1 overall pick himself this season.
Yeah, no doubt. He would definitely play that up. Mark Davis, one of a kind. There's a reason who they are. Vikings survive. Bear hugs needed. They just can't win the Bears at the end of the game there. They blow it. The Vikings continue to kind of just chug along here, as we're saying. I guess
they're the Chiefs.
They're 9-2 right now. Is that what they are?
They're Chiefs.
Yeah,
2 years ago, they're winning every game by less than a possession.
So is that a team you want to play in the playoffs, or the Vikings? Basically?
Yes.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones got his contract by putting up stats against the Vikings in the playoffs. He got his money by that.
It's a weird looking NFC playoff right now. Like if you look at like right now, you have the Seahawks 3, Falcons 4, Vikings 5. Like you would probably look at all those teams and be like, yeah, I don't mind playing any of those teams, right? Like those were super scary. I don't know.
That's why tonight's game is so important.
Yeah, we'll see that. Well, they got 7-3 still, I think, right now, between the Rams and the Eagles there. Yeah, what do you think there, Jimmy? The Bears, they show a little. Williams throws it 47 times in this game.
Well, I don't know if you guys watch the not talking to Gridiron Heights on the Bleacher Report social media. They had a hilarious skit. They're animated little short videos every week. They had a hilarious skit where Eberflus is like, oh, I lost my locker room again. Okay, Matt, retrace your steps. Where was the last place that you had your locker room? It was definitely before the Hail Mary, right? You had the locker room before the Hail Mary. I just Googled it, and there is no sign that he's fired yet. We'll see what happens tomorrow morning. But God, I don't know what else he has to do. But then there's an article that came out 14 hours ago, so before they played this morning. Eberflus has never been fired from a job that he's had. He just moves on to the next pasture. So maybe the Bears maybe they like him that much. I really don't know how he came back, except for this is what the Bears always do. They fire a coach, bring in a new coach, fire the GM, bring in a new GM. They're like a cycle off on everything that they're trying to refix in their organization. But the other issue that they have is anybody that can actually change the culture, get the team going in the right direction, get them to play the entire season, they don't want there. Because they don't want anybody to overshadow the organization. They don't want anybody to overshadow the ownership. Worry about the history. Worry about the 85 Bears. Don't look at the Bears now. Don't look at them now. We don't need a man head coach. We don't need Mike Vrabel. We got Matt Eberflus. He's got a beard. He got a haircut this offseason. They did an entire episode of Hard Knocks on Matt Eberflus's outfit, and nobody ever talked about the fact that he's just not a very successful NFL head coach.
And I mean, you guys kind of put it well with the Vikings there. That's kind of where they're at. Nobody's fearing them. Yeah, Jefferson's a great player, but they're just not.
It's been Addison lately.
What's up, Logan? How you doing? I don't know. I just think like the Bears though are like I think Terrell, you had them as a 7th seed, right? I believe maybe to sneak in.
The Bears?
Maybe it was Brian.
No, I was the one that said they won't make the playoffs.
Yeah, you're right. You were with me on that bet. Okay, so they got a little hype a little earlier in the year. We were in VSN threads where some people were saying the Bears have the best weapons in the National Football League.
Walking into the best situation of any number 1 overall pick in years. Yeah. Talking about
Bears fans got to be.
I was the guy that said that he could be a boss, so I said that.
Yeah, well, the Vikings surprising the hell out of me.
If you ever need a reminder of how much people hate Caleb Williams, go to like Packers Twitter. We follow some people on the account side of things, and there's some Packers fans that are ruthless. Absolutely, like from the very jump, every time that they posted about Caleb Williams so far this season, whether they were above 500 or below, they finished with like the little emoji of the painted nails. Like the kid hasn't had painted nails in the NFL yet. That's what he's remembered for. He's remembered, like they were telling him, oh, well, there was some video of some little teeny tiny Bears fan, like 6 or 7. They lost on the blocked field goal, and he's crying, Caleb Williams is setting a bad example because when these Bears fans take tough losses, they just break down and cry. Okay, that's a little bit much to say that about a 7-year-old, but, I mean, if you go outside of the Bears stratosphere right now, the sky is falling. The sky has started falling before the season even started.
And the Bears are in an interesting position because right now you have you have the Lions that you're going to be dealing with, and you got the Packers. So it's not, and they have Williams. That's
like 5 division games, don't they?
Yeah, they still have a lot to play. I was looking at the Vikings schedule. They play the Bears here coming up on December 16th, a 5:00 game on ABC. So that'll be kind of an interesting game to see how they.
Yeah, can I call it? Can I call something real quick?
Yeah.
I'm going to call it before anybody else does. Because all the Thanksgiving games are really kind of mediocre at best.
Yeah.
The Bears are going to beat the Lions on Thanksgiving Day. Okay, carry on.
Wow. That would be a huge surprise.
It's going to happen. Watch.
The Bears.
I'm telling you, yo.
Are we going to get a Dan Campbell crying press conference at the end of it?
I'm telling you something. I don't know what the point spread is. If you don't believe they're going to win head up, take the point spread. They're going to cover.
I'll look. Give me a second.
When we do the look ahead there, we'll have to dive in on that game a little bit.
10.5 point favorite.
They're covering 10.5 points.
Yeah, that's a lot of points in the NFL.
I'm telling you.
And it might be that's a lot. I'll give it to you.
I'm calling it first.
The Bears. Can they come back? Can they bounce back after
Bears?
Bears. How about the Titans? And we kind of talked about this Commanders. I feel like the Texans are kind of in that same mode a little bit. People there.
Kind of.
Sophomore slump.
I don't know. What's up with the Texans? Selling all the stock in them, or are we still believing in those Houston Texans moving forward after a big, tough loss to the Titans at home, 32-27. Anytime, I don't know, Terrell, you don't seem too nervous about it.
Do we think that the Ravens can go to the Super Bowl this year?
The Ravens, yes.
We all do, right?
Yeah.
They lost to the freaking Raiders. So can the Texans who beat Buffalo? Oh no, the Texans beat Buffalo, who we think is the favorite in the AFC right now, right?
Yes.
Okay, they lost to the Titans.
Yeah.
But
Right?
I just think not having Diggs long term is really going to hurt them.
I just think some of their losses have been kind of odd this year, and that's what like kind of worries about. Like, and you could say, well, they all add up, and yeah, you're right. That's the NFL, and you can kind of all put the puzzle piece together. I get that, but
At home and everything, that's a tough pill to swallow, especially because you ended up having your quarterback get sacked for a safety. I know that it wasn't as bad as the Orlovsky thing, but you had there's been issues with the Texans, especially going back to their pass pro with CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud is not a bad quarterback. Out of the last two classes of quarterbacks, he's probably either at the top of the list or two out of the top two. But he's having zero help from any of his players around him. His offensive line is not helping him at all. And you're giving up a safety to finish off the game at home against a team that is either last or second to last in your division. Everybody knows that the Titans are not good this year. I mean, thank you for giving me the opportunity to tweet out, remember the Titans, and do the, you feel? I feel good. You're going to feel good for a week, but I think that they'll be fine next season. The Titans will be okay. I think that Callahan will be better in his second season, and who knows? I don't know if he's going to get another opportunity afterwards, but the Texans, that was at home and in a division game. It's got to be a wake-up call. D'Amico Ryans has to use this. You can't just say that you can't just allow this anymore. You got to figure out what happened and try and correct those mistakes, because you have no Diggs anymore. Collins had a couple big plays, but he's still coming back from his injury. Like, there's still a lot of things that they have to shore up. They're lucky that they play in the worst division in football.
Terrell, to your point, you're not, you seem like you're not as kind of too worried about them in a sense. Like, it'll be interesting in the next 3 weeks looking at their schedule. They go Jaguars, Dolphins, Chiefs. We'll see how they should be.
When the competition is mediocre at best, it's hard to get up for games. It's a division game. So for the Titans, this is like, I'm trying to spoil your fun. For the Texans, it's like, we've already beaten the best. It's hard to get up all the time. That's all I'm saying. And the Colts lost again. So it's like,
divisionally,
you beat the best. I believe in it.
I just these are like, what was the scene we were just talking about in the NFC? Like your Commanders, like to the Cowboys. I was like, yeah, I hear you. I get you on that. But I'm also, if I'm looking at it from where you're hoping as a coaching standpoint, can we actually make a run? These are the wins where you feel like these ones, you understand why there's a letdown. But if you're, to me, taking the next step, sometimes you don't have letdowns in these situations. So that's why I'm being harder on them than maybe I should, I guess, in some areas.
No, if we would have won this game, I would have been all in, like, yo, we can cause havoc. Let's go. But these are the moments that we always do these things. So it's like, I expect it to happen. And until that changes, it's hard to believe in it until you get over that extra hump.
Yeah, I hear you. And it'll be, like I said, that'll be kind of, we'll see where they end up who they get in the playoffs.
Strong side, left side.
Brian, what I got 7-6 now as we get to it. Rams there as we get closer to halftime.
7-6.
7-6. Got a low scoring game like some of the early morning games when we get a finish there at the end. There with it. All right, best of the rest here with it. Lions rush, again, just on fire, do their work like you said. Against the Colts. The Colts continue to be kind of stuck in mud as a franchise. I feel like is kind of the way their year's starting to play out again like that, where like you said, they're just stuck in the middle. It's like a team in the NBA where you're getting that 9 seed or 10 seed. It's like either be really bad or be a little. They're just kind of stuck there a little bit.
And that's why I said I don't want to make the playoffs. Exactly right.
Well, you already got 7 wins. That's the only problem with your team. You already got 7. You might as well go for it at this point. But I hear what you're saying. Lions kick ass again. They're a 10-1. Who do you guys like? Who do you trust? I mean, I guess you're going to trust the Chiefs, but let's have some fun. Like we're kind of just saying it's a one. We're playing just through these 11 games so far. Lions or Chiefs? Like they meet like
Lions.
Lions
And Bears. Oh my!
So the Chiefs don't get any of that love. They don't get any of that 10-1 love, like we said there.
You're talking to a lot of AFC West supporters, so Mahomes will never get the credit that he deserves. And you're talking to NFL fans who know that Mahomes had the best situation of a lot of these talented quarterbacks to come into. So he's good. He obviously, you can't take any of that away from him. But we all want to see him lose. We all want to see him lose and have a team that can actually show up and punch him in the mouth. And what do the Lions love to do more than any? I almost feel like the Lions would rather have a tough game that they end up losing. Like if they would have lost that game against the Texans, they might have ended up taking that and using it as more fuel. Like Dan Campbell was probably pissed off a little bit, slightly, in that team meeting because he wants to be able to use his team. But when we're talking about the Lions, I was thinking about the Lions as we were talking about the Texans because the Lions went through a few different iterations under this coaching staff. They went through the get really close and lose. They went through the get really close and win. They went through win and be in the playoffs and be close to the Super Bowl and all that kind of stuff. This is their season where they're finally taking that next step. A couple times here and there, they've been a little bit lackluster. Like today, 26 points against the Colts. Colts defense is they're playing for their life basically, but it's what was expected. If anybody thought that they weren't going to come out there and beat the Colts by at least 3 touchdowns, I don't know what football you've been watching because the Lions love to beat up on bad teams.
Well, and that's why I kind of like this show is because I can kind of deep dive into some of the teams I would never deep dive into. And so I kind of get to look into like just where were the fans from those teams take? How are they looking at it? Like, when they look at the Colts 5-7 again, mediocrity right there. So Anthony
Richardson fell back down to earth. By the way, I gave him his credit last week, and he fell right back down to earth this week.
Yeah,
that's what it's about, though. That's what it's about. Growing pains. Get him out the way.
Yeah, we'll see how we do. I think it will be interesting. The Colts are kind of one of those teams. Kind of, if we're looking ahead to next year, Richardson will be a big year for him next year. Ahead of that. All right, Jimmy. It's afternoon delight here. We have it at the bottom. We had a few of them down, a few games there. Denver, my Raiders get out 13-9. It looks like maybe a little Minshew mania might happen. Does not happen. Next to Sutton, he's looking good for the Broncos out there. He's looking good. They're 7-5. When I say looking good, he's doing enough. Like he's not looking like an all-timer, but he's doing. He's got a spark to him.
Rookie of the month, like back-to-back rookie of the weeks. He's doing more than just looking all right. All right. They're winning games. He's looking good at some points. There's been a couple games, like the Ravens game, he looked like absolute garbage, but that's, as a rookie, you take a few of those games. That was, I go back to Sean Payton's comments, his post-game press conference. He said he came out of the locker room. In the NFL, everybody's talented. You're going to have to figure out ways to win. And when you don't have your best, how are you going to figure out ways to win? And guess what? The Broncos did that today. Because, I was pissed off at halftime when they're down. Like, they shouldn't ever be, in my opinion, this season, they shouldn't have been down to the Raiders. The fact that they've been down double digits in both those games is a little bit concerning to me. That's the lack of talent that we've been talking about with the cap situation and everything like that. But you're getting a team that plays their balls off to the end of the game, and when they have these teams that they can beat, that they're maybe a little bit more talented than in some places, they've figured out some ways to get some interesting wins. The game against the Raiders, that was a 9-game streak that they broke the first time back in Denver.
I know. I enjoyed that streak.
That's the only thing that you guys had for a couple of years is, at least we sweep the Broncos every year. Well, the Broncos have a competent head coach and a quarterback that's not going to take any shit from anybody. I don't know if you guys saw him jawing with Max Crosby during the game today, but
Max always has a way. He has a way of getting people fired up.
Well, and then he also, he threw that last touchdown pass to Cortland Sutton in the end zone, and Max Crosby did his little tag off like he likes to do on those quarterbacks. And just ran right off to the sideline. I'm not even going to entertain your bullshit now. We're up by enough. We're going to win this game. I don't need to deal with you anymore.
But they have 14 touchdowns, 6 interceptions on the year, 66%. Terrell, you look like
I think the point for the Raiders is to get Chanel Sanders.
She
You,
do.
you lost. The point is Minshew's going to be done for the rest of the season, so just lose out and get the number 1 pick. That's for the Raiders.
No doubt. That's the absolute. But Terrell, you look a little suspect with Bo real quick before we move on to the Niners here.
No. I'm not suspecting on Bo. Jimmy, stop with all this rookie of the week day and everything else. James Daniels is the guy. Stop with the Bo Nix fan club. You out here put billboards up for Bo Nix. Stop. It's James Daniels every weekday, year, whatever it is, and you know it is, so relax. You've been doing that for weeks. I'll let you slide, but we know what's really good, dude.
This is fucking football right now. They're the same record with similar teams.
This will be the best argument the next 5 weeks going forward on this show. The Bo Nix versus this is
it's not
legit.
a competition.
Well, we'll see. Still got 5 weeks if Daniels gets
Not a competition.
Okay, right now, Darren. What are you saying? What percent?
I would say that Nix probably has, I would say, a 30% chance.
That's what I said. 70-30. Exactly.
I would say still enough time.
Now.
That's all my point.
Nobody has a better record out of the two of them.
What's Daniels throwing? I can look what he's got there. I know I said 14 for.
He's breaking records.
And Daniels didn't play a couple weeks because of his injury. Bo's
He's
been
still breaking records.
He's got 12 TDs and 5 interceptions.
Oh, so more interceptions and less touchdowns.
He's got that. And what's his a little higher percentage, but
throwing and rushing.
He's got more rushing. He's got 5 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, well, Bo Nix wasn't expected to be a rusher, but he's running the hell out of the
I
football.
don't care if he's expected to do shit. That ain't a stat. That's not a stat.
Listen to the rest of the statement. He's running when he needs to run, and he's fucking winning football games. So I don't really give a shit right now. Yeah, they're tied. I'll give them tied right now. But at this point, who's on the better trajectory, the Broncos or the Commanders?
I'm talking about James Daniels versus Bo Nix. I would never have faith in my organization to ever do crap until they do it. Don't make it an organization thing. That's not fair. Y'all went and get Peyton Manning and Von Miller and stuff to win the championship.
Winning games. Peyton Manning didn't win Rookie of the Year going 3-13.
So that doesn't matter.
This will be a good one going forward.
Are you kidding me? Are y'all tripping?
Terrell,
you're putting Bo Nix over Caleb Williams?
No,
really?
Yes.
No, I'm not.
What?
I'm not.
He's winning.
You obviously are. James Daniels is number 1 right now over all of them. By far.
I don't know about by far. I put him 30%.
You can. Here's the thing. We can agree.
30 is by far, baby.
We can not agree. That's you three saying it's 70-30. That's you three saying 70-30.
Ryan's on your side.
No. Derek said the same thing.
That's what I'm saying. You guys on the show are saying 70-30. It's not 70-30. It's a lot closer to fucking 50-50 right now. And whoever ends up having the best end of the season is going to win that award.
You knock it off right now. I don't want to lose any of you as friends. All right?
This is how Terrell and I show each other love. This is how Terrell and I show each other love.
Darren, I've never seen anybody cry for their ex-girlfriend as much as Coach P and Lamar Odom. You are not a Denver fan, dude. You're a Bengals fan.
Hey, you got to give it to him. Hey, I'll give you this. I am looking forward to this now for the next 5 weeks. I'm going to be checking the odds there, Jimmy. We're going to be on that with it. The Seahawks, they win that one as well. Afternoon delight. Babe, you guys got me fired up now after that one. I like that. I'm ready to go.
70-30. It's more like 50-50.
There's your TikTok. There's your TikTok video right there, Brandon. There's your TikTok. You'll get that.
Give me cheers in everybody on this show, because that's going to be my clip when things work out.
That's what it is.
It would still be when you don't work out. I want you to be like, big time storylines.
We'll bring it back either way. We'll bring it back either 7-6 Rams here. Brian, I don't think me and you can counter that with a Dolphins game. But this isn't gonna. Dolphins Patriots is not going to be able to get the job done with that as well. So you have that.
So much for Adam and Drake May being the next Josh Allen.
Oh gosh, yeah, I know. Tell me that. Hey, but you think about Josh Allen. How about your Niners? They get absolutely spanked by the Packers today, and Debo again had some big drops along the way. I mean, I know you were.
I mean, after getting called out by Terrell Owens and you put up that performance, I mean, I don't know what to say.
He wasn't good today. It wasn't good. And then you have Mr. Allen out there as your quarterback. Welcome to my life.
Brandon Allen.
Welcome to my life as a quarterback right there for a little bit. It's bad when you just don't have a good offense. And, obviously Purdy's, not perfect, but he's obviously going to give you a better chance than Allen is. And then the Packers look strong. I mean, are you impressed at all watching the Packers at all? You're just like, or is your biggest takeaway the Niners they suck and they're completely done, even though the division says they're not? Where are you at, Brian? They done?
I mean, the Niners are just done. I think there's a bigger issue than they're saying right now, but I think that the locker room is lost, and they tried to get something out of Kittle today. They said, "Is it tough to be so positive when you're looking really bad lately?" And he almost broke down and said something, and then he changed the tone. But I just think there's something more going on that nobody wants to talk about. But I think Shanahan's lost the locker room, and that's my opinion.
Did you see the slow motion clip during the back-to-back 12-men on the field penalty? The one that got wiped out because of the offsetting penalties, but the clip that they have of Kyle Shanahan running up the sideline screaming at his defensive coordinator, like, how the fuck do you let that happen 2 plays in a row? That is. I mean, when you have coaches arguing with each other on the sideline, how are you going to get guys on the field to play for each other? Especially when there's millions and millions of dollars out there on the field. Like, that's the difference in the NFL. It comes down to coaching, not necessarily the X's and the O's, but like, you guys got to show a united front so that everybody plays for the organization. What organization are you playing for right now? Like, are you playing for the defensive coordinator that's not paying attention, leaves 12 guys out there on the field for 2 plays in a row? Are you playing for Kyle Shanahan, who gets you to a certain point? And I know that Niners fans love to say this, he's not ever going to get you over the hump. Like, it's a tough situation for them right now. This is not a situation I was expecting from them at the beginning of the season.
So I brought it up earlier this morning.
Me either.
I brought it up earlier this morning with Brian and said, okay, it's his 8th year. He just signed it. He's not going anywhere. He's going to be back next year. They're not going to fire him.
No, he's gone.
I don't think he's going to be fired. They just signed him to a contract, him and Lynch.
It'll depend on if Lynch wants to keep his job, because I can see the DeBartolos saying you either get rid of him and you keep your GM job, or we're going to find a new GM and a new coach.
Yeah, that's why I agree with Jimmy.
Would something be set up or ahead of time if they got Belichick there? That seems like the conversation that would have already been had if you're getting rid of one of the best coaches for that.
Well, I mean, you're going to get rid of a coach who's going to end up getting a job in the next 24 hours after you fire him.
I know it sounds stupid to get rid of a guy that has those credentials, but the fact people aren't playing for him, people aren't buying into what Shanahan is preaching to you anymore. It's like he just can't get you over the hump. He blew it, and it's like it's just time to go to something else. I'm tired of this crap.
The team looks like, normally that offense is good with all the motions. The team looks like they're tired of the goddamn motions before the plays. Like, there is something to be said about a coach's scheme and a coach's message getting stale, especially at this level when you're dealing with a bunch of grown-ass men who want to play the way that they want to play. Like, the offense looks like, all right, we're going to call, ZX, X motion, X motion's back, fullback motion's out, receiver motion's this way. We're going to try and figure out all the tendencies on the defense, and the guys that are in the huddle, like, really? Can I just line up and run a football play? Do I have to run all over the backfield before we actually snap the football, or is this how everything is built in your offense? Okay, I guess this is how everything is built in your offense. There is something to be said about a coach's message getting stale, and this is why GMs are paid a little bit more than coaches, and they get a different set of responsibilities, because the GM's supposed to look and say, well, the guys that we pay a lot of money aren't listening to the guy that we're paying on the sidelines. And that is a situation where you probably do need to get rid of him.
I just can't see him going anywhere this year. I mean, I hear what you guys are both saying about it. Brian,
this is coming from a guy that wanted Alex Smith out there over Colin Kaepernick. So I want to hear it here. I want to hear it.
I hear you. I just don't. Hey, what a game versus the Saints though in the playoffs. I hear you. I just don't. I just think it'll be interesting what you guys do with Purdy's contract this offseason. So we got 13-7 now. Eagles are beating the Rams. We'll see if the big win for the Rams. They need this one. They need this.
They need it.
They need it badly. So we'll see what they go. It's still early in the game. A lot of time to be played out there. All right. So kind of mentioned briefly Tua and the Patriots there. We had the Bucks. They did work over the Giants as well. What do you? Yeah, we got that. What do you guys make? Daniel, they part ways, and then we're hearing it sounds like probably this week Dable's gone, if not by the end of tonight that he's gone. What like the Giants? Like I guess just getting you guys' thoughts. Like, is there any spot that Jones could actually be a good quarterback? Or are you guys all out on him?
Yes.
Anywhere? Okay, where you actually do believe in him still a little bit? Terrell, you believe in him then a little bit?
No, I don't believe in him. I believe in anybody that has is a contender to win a Super Bowl this year needs to sign him to be a backup because he might be one of the best backups in the league.
Do you think he'll ever be a starter again and have a chance to have a good career?
I mean, he's going to be like a Jameis Winston. He might get a shot. We've seen Jacoby Brissett get multiple opportunities. Damn, we saw Geno Smith come from the depths of butt cheeks and hell in the Jets, and now
escape from New York.
You know what I'm saying? So Tyrod Taylor's still around, getting stabbed by doctors, but he's still around. You know what I mean? There's quarterbacks out there everywhere. Case Keenum's still making plays. Yeah. So he's going to be around. But if I'm a contender and I'm not sure if my quarterback goes down, if the rest of my team can carry it, why not?
Yeah.
For nothing, why not?
I was thinking about that when I asked the question. I was like, okay, does he? I don't think he'll ever. He never struck me as anybody that would be able to, I don't know, be consistent enough to lead you to be a real.
He needed a lot more seasoning when he got drafted, and he's gotten a lot of experience because this Giants organization, who I texted in our chat with Brandon Darren, I never thought that I would have the same take as Stephen A. Smith, but I've been saying a lot of what he said earlier this week about how the Giants have handled this entire situation. The only reason that the Giants don't get as much shit talked about them as the Jets is because the Jets are that goddamn bad. But the ownership situation in New York, football in general, the Giants and the Jets, sucks. Like the family that's owning this team, how do you invest a second overall pick in Daniel Jones, number one, when you have what I can't even remember who else was on the board at that time, but you insist on making him your starting quarterback. You insist on paying him oogles and oogles of money when he was never able to do much besides get to the playoffs one time in this stretch. It's bad. It's bad ownership. It's bad organization.
What do you got here?
That's the point. That's the whole point. It's not about where he was drafted because he got drafted, and I forget his name, but he was our guy that we drafted from Ohio State that passed away.
Oh, Haskins.
Pittsburgh. Yeah, Haskins. Daniel Jones got drafted before him, and both of them were never really anything. The biggest thing was when they said, I'm going to pay Daniel Jones, and I'm not going to pay Saquon Barkley because the market says you can't pay $10 million a year for a running back, which that was the problem. Because you see Barkley, what he's doing, and now you see Daniel Jones, what he's doing.
Man, and the Giants, they continue to just, like you said, Jimmy, they're one of the worst franchises.
It was like bringing in a 200 hitter with like 25 home runs for a badass closer. Because watching the beginning of the Sunday Night Football game, they brought up the stats. Yeah, Saquon runs a lot in the first half. Saquon is a closer in the NFL. He gets better as the game goes on. So if you're going to really have this team that can compete and try and win these playoff situations, you better have somebody that can score at the end of the game. Daniel Jones couldn't do that. Saquon Barkley has been able to do that even when he was playing in New York. He's more of a reason that they made it to the playoffs as recently, more so than Daniel Jones. And the Eagles recognized it, and the Eagles made him the offer. He made him an offer he couldn't refuse. Okay, going with the Italian stereotype. And then on top of all of that, You play Tommy DeVito today because you're worried about paying Drew Lock based on his incentives that you put in his own contract.
Embarrassing. They're not. Sometimes like some of these people that I call not real franchises. They had the wide receiver come out today.
Neighbors.
If that dude is unhappy, you better be fucking worried.
And he's a star.
Second quarter, don't get the ball, start getting targets at the end. I mean, can't do nothing.
Yeah, I know. Malik, I only got 6 points out of you fantasy-wise, and that wasn't on you. That wasn't on you, baby. That wasn't on you. That was on the OC.
I played him too. Damn it.
Yeah, he was not happy about it. And so he had so a lot going wrong with the Giants. Dable's going to be out here shortly again. So the Giants just a big dumpster fire, but kind of curious where we thought Jones with all that was. We talked about him just to give you a little idea. So he was actually taken 6 overall. Murray was the first quarterback taken first. When Bosa, then Williams, and Farrell. The Raiders took, and then Devin White, then Jones.
Was that the Ruggs draft too?
The Ruggs.
Because didn't the Raiders have 2 first-round picks, and they ended up getting Ruggs and somebody?
We had 3 actually. They ended up taking Josh Jacobs, and then they took a safety named Jonathan Abram.
So nobody that's on the team anymore.
Exactly.
Jacob scored 3 touchdowns.
I know. He's still relevant.
Talk about a closer. If you get within the 5-yard line, that dude's going in the end zone.
I don't know. Jones ends up with 85 total touchdowns with the Giants, 47 interceptions. What team should you be the most disappointed? What team should be the most disappointed at this point in the NFL season? Like we go
Jets.
Yeah, the Jets are up there. Terrell's going to get mad at me again because I'm talking about my ex, but the Bengals are pretty fucking disappointing this season.
You always talk about your ex.
Terrell, what can I do?
It's always in your heart. It's out in your heart.
What can I do? I wanted them to work out so badly. I wanted them
You're
to.
still thinking about it.
I am still thinking about it because guess what? Burrow's leading the league in passing and Chase is leading the league in receiving yards, and they're on a bye week this week.
Listen, Jimmy, you need to be completely honest with Nico and all of Denver. You know what I mean? You need to be completely honest. You are my rebound. You are like my fixture.
I feel like they know that.
My love is letting me down, and I need some kind of involvement.
Yeah.
Be real with them. You're gonna break Denver's heart when you realize that you have to go back. Stop, let it go now. Let it go. Let it go.
I feel like they should know that because if they've listened to me, which people only started listening to me this season, because it was the whole Anthony Richardson thing where people actually started to listen to me. But they should know if they go back and listen to our older shows, they know the love that I have. You know, I still gotta say have. I still gotta say have for that franchise. But even at a bye week, I still think Zach Taylor should be fired.
You definitely got to see the 49ers too.
49ers are definitely disappointing too.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I knew that shit was not going to be there.
Yeah, you were on that by Casey, my brother.
I said they will not make the playoffs.
I had the Bengals on there too. I just think they've been. I thought Burrow maybe one.
You're with Casey with the pitchfork and the devil costume going. Lose Niners, lose.
Yes, we are. We listen. I've learned to come around a little bit, Brian. You stole Greg from us, so you gotta have a little bit. Any other teams you guys disappointed in? Like would the Cowboys be in there, or were you expecting that? Or
I'm never gonna give Jerry Jones credit. Never, ever in my life.
I mean, it's not like nothing shocking.
No.
Yeah,
I'm more surprised that Carolina was with that close to beat Kansas City, more than any of the other things like the Texans or the Washington lose.
I'll give you a disappointing team from today. Arizona disappointed the shit out of me today.
But Seattle's. They're about the same.
That division is like sneakily bad. They're sneakily bad, but they're still really competitive.
Who do you like now after this week to win that? It's still like just like if you had to put your money on a team there.
The Rams after tonight's win.
You ever play roulette, Darren? If you ever played roulette, then you know exactly how I feel about that division.
Yes, I do.
Bet on black Falcons.
Bet it on something. Something's gonna work out.
That's good. Hey, we got Thanksgiving. I always like the idea of Thanksgiving football together like that. Those two things always go well together, right? We got a little bit of that coming. I don't know if you guys have anyone that stands out to you. The one memory I just always remember is Leon Lett, or is the sliding. I mean, that one's just so classic. I remember being like the way. So that game starts at my house about 3:30, that afternoon game. So that's 1:30. So halftime's so the game ends about about 5:00 usually or something like that. So it's like right after dinner or right before or whatever. So it's just one of those moments I'll never forget on Thanksgiving there. And then of course the turducken. But anything else stand out to you guys or anything that
I gotta say Randy Moss shredding the Cowboys after they passed on him in the draft.
I wasn't necessarily alive, like fully conscious for that one, but I've heard about it. I've heard about that one quite a bit.
3 catches, 3 touchdowns, like 145 yards. Like, yeah, that's a pretty good day in the office there. So,
you passed on him because he was smoking a little weed out in West Virginia. What else are you going to do in West Virginia?
Hey, the Lions actually get the
Cowboys.
The Lions actually get the good game early this time, Terrell. There's actually, but usually it's always been the opposite. Like it's always been the opposite, and we actually get a little different now. A little different. The Lions actually the best team now playing early instead of having that game. For me, that game starts at 9 a.m. That first game, so it starts at 9 a.m. So that's always
screw all these different time zones, man. Yeah, screw these time zones because I've been in Central Time for the last 4 days, and it pissed me off.
12. It starts at 12.
Yeah, exactly.
It pissed me off because I was like, "Oh, football's coming on at 10. Nope, it's 11. Well, that's NFL football. Nope, NFL football comes on at noon. What? No, that's not how it works."
The Lions game was always the one where you eat all your food, get all stuffed and fat because the game didn't really matter, and like be ready for the Cowboy game next, and then.
That's exactly what it always came down to. So that's funny. So Thanksgiving coming up. We'll have 3 games that day. We'll get into that in just a sec. All right, any teams we're crossing off the list here? Do we put anybody in there? We got the Colts on there yet? I feel like we do. Or can we put the Colts on there?
We can probably put the Colts.
Yes.
Yeah,
we have the Colts. We're not believing in the Colts. All right, we'll put the
You need to start putting the teams that you don't have in there yet.
All right, that's all. Like, who else do we want to put in there?
No, I'm saying put the teams to choose from to mark off.
I got you. I got to get Brandon.
Because it's starting to switch sides now.
It's starting to get too many on one side of it.
Yeah, look at all them.
We got a lot, man.
Like you could put us and take the Rams out if you want.
Ooh, a little switcheroo. I don't think we had a switcheroo in the last 4 seasons of the show.
Take the Niners out and put the Rams and keep the Rams alive. The Rams might lose.
Yes. Rams going to win.
Brian, I don't know if we can put the Niners in yet, though. I feel like that's too soon. We can't.
Yeah.
We can't put
They're playing Buffalo in Buffalo with Josh Allen. We're going to get destroyed.
So these teams are still alive?
These are the teams we're saying that will not make the playoffs.
Right. I want to see the other list.
I don't have another list on that one. This is all I got.
I want to see the teams I can choose from. I can't think like that.
Well,
the Dolphins are a team that's still alive.
No, you got them on the list already.
Well, they ended up fighting their way back. NFC wise,
I would say
are the Cardinals on there yet? Because the Cardinals just fell out of the 7th seed.
You can't knock them out yet either.
No, you can't. But that's like,
or Seattle, or the Niners, or none of them.
Do we want to be bold and pick the Bucks?
Yet. You can't knock us out yet.
Do we want to be bold and pick and kick out the Bucks because the Bucks are still 8th seed right now?
I can't knock them out yet either.
I say I don't know. I think we have it perfect with the Colts this week. I think that's the one team.
I think that's the one. Yes.
I think the Colts are the team. The rest of us.
Yes, me too. Yeah.
Brian, the Niners getting close though. Nobody would have thought they would make the big board.
But next week, make the list the ones that we can knock off.
I will do that one for you. I'll do the ones we can knock off. Go with it. So, Saffel, you've heard the request. Get it. Yeah.
CEO, get to work. What do you do?
What do you do here with it? All right. Who do you got? Monday night, Brian, you mentioned it a little bit. The Harbaugh Bowl in Los Angeles.
I got the Chargers in this game. I think they're going to win.
Oh yeah, I can tell you're kind of starting to kind of feel a little Charger energy there. You can see that Southern Cal sunshine there is kind of starting to reflect. The Harbaugh, we talked about X's a lot today. Maybe the Harbaugh energy is starting to hit you as well a little bit.
Why does my ex never deserve this much credit?
Come back, Harbaugh.
My ex never deserved this much credit. Why are we talking about my ex so much this week?
I have no idea. We're just talking about X's in general. Who do you got, Brian? You got them Chargers then. Do you think they cover?
Yeah, I got
or how they cover, of course, if you have a win. Do you think so? With that, Jimmy, do you think they end up winning as well?
I think this is going to be a pretty entertaining Monday night game. I picked the Chargers mainly because Nico and I have our pick 'em that we do on our show, and he's winning again because, as a good podcast host, I like to pick opposite of him, and it would be boring because he and I think very similarly. It'd be really boring if I just picked the same exact team. So I went with the Chargers. He went with the Ravens. I'm hoping that the Chargers win so I can get one of the 5 games down that I'm back. I think that is a tight game, and the Ravens have shown that they will lose. And, barring the second half of last week, the Chargers have looked pretty damn good so far this season.
What do you think, Terrell? Like
the Chargers almost lost last week. Let's be real. Even though I like the Chargers, the Ravens will win this week.
Jackson, little bounce back.
They're going to win this week. It's going to be Derrick Henry. 2 touchdowns.
It's kind of like Brian said, I feel like it is kind of an early statement game. I guess you would say for the Chargers. I would feel not all games feel that way. This one does have that sense a little bit, like the Chargers have something to prove here if they can get a win like this.
But the Ravens have had like 3 of those, and they've lost too many of them. They have to win this one. They have to win this one.
I'm worried about them a little bit. I was starting.
If they lose this game,
I don't know what's the energy up your way with because you're closer to that area. Everybody.
They got to win.
Yeah, that's where it's at. Lamar MVP, is that
the Baltimore boys are still talking about Flacco. There's just something about Flacco that I just missed. There's something different about Flacco.
No, they ain't.
Don't do that. Yeah, you can't do that.
No, they ain't.
I know. I just ate.
As I say, Carson Paul. Oh, that's right. That's your ex. My bad.
My ex, Carson Paul.
and now what I've learned
with Joe Burrow.
What I've learned about my ex, he definitely deserved to get out of that situation. So I was pissed off at him when he left, knowing what I know now. He probably had his reasons.
And he went to the Raiders too.
Yeah, I know. Talking about going from shit to shit.
What did we trade 2 first-round picks for him? Thank you. Who was the guy that used to? And then said he was going.
How did you trade for him? He threatened to retire if the Bengals wouldn't get rid of him.
Who was the coach for the Raiders? He was the Bengals coach or he was the Browns coach that said he would jump into.
Hugh Jackson. Hugh Jackson.
Yeah. He was the guy that did it.
The guy that won 1 game, 1 season.
Well, when Jason Campbell goes down with a season-ending injury, you do crazy things. And Terrell knows all about Jason Campbell as well.
Yes, I do. God, I was already thinking about it before you said it. I was like, damn, he remembered that shit.
Yeah, we got him. All right, Thursday Thanksgiving games. You got Bears, Lions, Giants, Cowboys. Oh my goodness, Dolphins, Packers. I guess Dolphins, Packers. Maybe that's with the Dolphins getting a few wins. That's
all 3 upsets.
All 3? No.
Wow.
All right. The Bears is the one. The Giants, Cowboys won.
Bears win. Giants win. Dolphins win.
Jerry Jones ruined the Thanksgiving. I don't think anybody did.
He's lost it, folks. He's lost it.
He's out of it. So you got those on Thanksgiving. Is there Friday? Yes, Friday. Raiders, Chiefs. Brian on
Raiders win. 4 straight upsets.
Now you definitely lost.
Oh, look, Darren's hyped now because I said the Raiders. He's like, let's go.
So you guys remember on Happy Days when the Fonz jumped the shark, right?
Yeah.
He jumped over and that was the defining term in television from that moment forward. I think one of them, there's possibility for a couple upsets. All 4?
How about of all those 4, Jimmy? Which one do you like the most?
4.
Out of all those 4,
yeah. Come on, Minshew's hurt, right, Brian? You said
it's not the Raiders and Chiefs because the Chiefs that'll be a game that they here's my prediction. Not even really a bold prediction anymore. The Raiders will keep that one close, and the Chiefs are going to rip your heart out, Darren. Unfortunately.
Just crush my soul early.
It's been every single week, man. They've given every team that they've played a chance to win, and yet only one has been able to take advantage of it. Yeah, you'll probably win one, but am I expecting you to go on Black Friday on the road to a 10-1 Chiefs team that hasn't lost at home yet?
Jack Jones, can we get 2 more interceptions for touchdowns like last year? That's our only.
Well, yeah, if Pat Mahomes decides to even up his touchdown to interception ratio, maybe you guys got a shot.
Denver almost won.
Yeah.
They played a hell of a game against the Chiefs. Almost is an understatement because apparently 54 has been known as a fish the entire season, and the Chiefs are just the ones that had to take advantage of it.
You also got Chargers, Falcons, Steelers, Bengals, Cardinals, Vikings.
Chargers, Falcons is interesting because which of those teams are going to take the next step forward? Like who's going to actually be the team that everybody is expecting them to be? The Falcons are trying to play for number 1 in their division still, and the Chargers are trying to play to keep up with the team that's at the top of their division. But again, these are 2 teams. Like the Falcons have the 28-3 still looming over their head, and then you're always waiting for them to give something away. And up until this season, Nico and I have always said on our show, Chargers going to Charger. Yep. And they almost fucking chargered last week. So that's like who's going to be real. Who's real this season and who is the same old team that we've been seeing.
You also have Cardinals, Vikings, just from a standing.
I see that one going Cardinals.
Vikings can only pull so many out, right? Even at home. It's at home. The Cardinals look pretty crappy today against Seattle.
Vikings win.
The Cardinals are weird like that. Murray's an odd play.
Is the new COD season like really solid or what's going on?
Are we getting close to that season? Your Commanders play the Titans at home. Now you got to win that one. Can't lose back-to-back.
Oh, we'll win that game.
Can't lose that one.
We'll win that game.
I guess the other intriguing ones, Monday nights, Browns, Broncos. You guys get to host it in Denver there. But then the other 2 is, like you said, Niners, Bills. Niners season on the line next week. We're
going to get dominated.
The horses prepared for battle, but the faith is in the Lord.
The Lord, and then they got Eagles, Ravens. That's the other one.
That was Jameis Winston's direct quote for Thursday Night Football this week. The horses prepared for battle, but my faith is in the Lord.
That's Jameis Winston. If I was playing for him, I'd just be
he's gonna win.
He probably will. That's gonna be.
He's gonna win.
Come on, Bo Nix. We can't lose that one. We gotta get that one. We gotta win that one, Bo.
How did they win Thursday? Can anybody tell me that? Because I was having to sit here with, there's nothing to do in Tulsa, and the hotel we're staying at doesn't have a cable package, so I was watching it on my laptop, and I was like, really? The Steelers have done all of this, and they're going to let Jameis Winston, the first time that he's ever played in snow, beat them?
That was
okay.
Man, I would think playing in that would be tough. I would think that would not be easy, but I'm sure.
I've never had an experience where it was like kind of clear but cold, and then all of a sudden a fucking blizzard in the second half. Like most of the time, blizzards start from the time kickoff is going. That was insane how quickly that weather changed.
Crazy.
I always like when you guys host games like Colorado or like in those areas because was it last year on Christmas you guys hosted a game? We got some snow out there. Like I like with Denver that this time of year, like when you guys are hosting games, especially with your 7-5. At least the games will be meaningful along the way here. We'll see. You can't lose to the Browns again. A big game there.
They're gonna lose.
Don't say we can't because we got to.
They're gonna lose.
Oh boy, they can't.
Don't say can't. The crackerback is out.
Who's the winner of the week, gentlemen? Terrell, you got a winner of the week maybe for you this week for you if you think a guy, an NFL.
The winner of the week is going to be the winner of tonight's game.
All right, I like that.
Because that team is going to be the number 2 team in the NFC.
We got 13-7 here at halftime, so you're right, big game here.
And they both could beat the Lions in the NFC Championship game. They're the only 2 teams.
The NFC's in it. It's weird. That's
the only 2 teams. Nobody else.
It's such an odd conference this year with like the depth compared to the AFC with like the way you go through it with it. Brian, who you got for winner?
My winner, I'm going to give Jimmy some love, the Denver Broncos, because they've surprised the hell out of me this year. I did not think they'd be this good. And
Did I just get praise? Did I just get praise on this show?
He said winner of the week, not winner of the like surprise team of the year. I mean, what the fuck is that shit?
I've never gotten a compliment.
Winner of the week, dude.
Terrell, I have never gotten a compliment from Mr. Johnson in the last 3 years that I've known him. So
There you go. You get it.
I'll take the wins.
Yo,
I'll take the wins when I can.
shit. Yo, he said, I'm going to give the winner of the week to my man Jimmy, who's a hell of a coach, who's leaps and bounds doing things for youngsters out here. He's in love with his mistress and his newfound love, rebound girl, but he wants to get back with his I mean, this guy, we love you, Jimmy.
We love it. We love Johnson throwing it out there, the compliment. This for I gotta go. Jacobs, old Raider, gets 3 touchdowns against the Brian. Get that Devils costume out against the Niners, I guess. So he gets the Jacobs. I never had a problem with him. With the Raiders let him go. I knew why they did because of the money and whatever, and the contract. But I never had an issue with him. It seemed like everybody loved him. I wish they didn't let him go. But probably
Did you see his post-game press conference? Because the reporter tried to get Love and LaFleur told us that what you say on the field sets the tone for the entire team. Can you give us a little example? And he's like, no. Really? You can't even give us a little bit? He's like, anything I say on the football field, that's why I don't let y'all make me up. Anything I say on the football field can't be showed on TV for real. It's like,
he's a leader. I'm people talk about it. What happened? What's going on, Terrell?
Saquon Barkley just busted one for a long touchdown.
Yes. So we got 20-7 now.
He's over 4 of my fantasy team. Let's go. Sorry, but
did he backflip into the end zone? With it? So we got loser of the week now. You're right, 19-7 with it. All right, so loser of the week. Brian, who'd you say you got loser of the week?
I gotta go the Houston Texans losing to the Titans at home. That was not a pleasant loss.
That's like I said, we kind of ripped on them a little bit, so I think well deserved a little bit with it. But Jimmy, who you got loser of the week?
I'm going to give my loser of the week to my fellow Italian American brethren, Tommy DeVito, because my winner of the week is Baker Mayfield for the performance that he put on, 300 yards passing, a rushing touchdown, and he sent everybody off with the little Tommy DeVito celebration. So, Tommy, everybody knows you shouldn't have been playing this week. You know, you're the epitome of the union job right now. You're a union quarterback, and your union status is about to be fucking revoked.
Well done. I like that. Terrell, you got loser of the week?
Of course, it's the Washington squad. I mean, they had a chance, like you said, to get 8 wins, 4 losses. You're right there for that top wild card spot. You know what I mean? Everybody's hyping you up, doing these different things, and you get a win against your arch rival at home, and you lose that game. That's loser of the week, baby. That's loser of the week. I got an extra point.
Terrell, I got a question for you because it comes up on a lot of the shows that I listen to with Commanders fans on it. How do you feel about the Commanders hating the Cowboys, but the Cowboys not necessarily feeling a certain way about the Commanders? Does that bother you at all?
Not really. It's kind of like you dating somebody else when you're still in love with your ex-girlfriend.
How did I get brought back into this? That was a legitimate football question. I was asking a legitimate question.
Here we go. Hold on. Here we go. Honestly, for Darren, his Super Bowl might be, I want to beat the Chiefs once a year. Out of my 2 games I play the Chiefs, I want to win. You think the Chiefs feel the same way about when they play the Raiders?
It's not Raider week anymore.
We can go through each division and say the same things. Yeah. I don't care what Dallas thinks about Washington. If that's our game, that's our game.
Yeah.
Michigan, Ohio State. I mean, we got all kinds of different rivalries.
Go Blue.
For me, it's always the Broncos. There's Barkley. I mean, this guy, he's going to get MVP votes, I think. He might get, I don't know.
He'll be Offensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, no, he's having a spectacular season. The Giants, and I love that the fact that they got that on video.
He found
that whole scene with like how when the Giants. Remember that Jimmy the G?
How did the Giants allow Hard Knocks to be there for the offseason and film that? Like, if you know that's what's going to happen, like the NFL team gets a say as to what HBO is and isn't allowed to show. How did the Giants let that get unless they're trying to think that, oh, well, people are going to see that Saquon wanted more money. No shit, he wants more money. You got to pay him money if you're going to keep him around in New York and not win. The Eagles are going to pay him more money, and guess what? He has a chance to win.
I'm gonna go my loser of the week. I'm gonna jump on the Johnson. It's gonna go Niners too. Like I said, like they didn't just play bad. They gave up today a little bit. Like McCaffrey with his fumbles, they were just bad football. Like that was like
those Colorado boys can't play football for shit.
Well, he's a good player.
But McCaffrey don't usually fumble like Darren
No,
said.
I know. That's a little bit of me being at this tournament out in Oklahoma, and we show up with the box state and like the representing Colorado, and everybody's like, "Oh, whatever."
That's what I just the Niners for me.
That's what I love about Jimmy. Jimmy got that grit. I love Jimmy from the jump. He got that grit. I love Jimmy. You got mad love tonight, Jimmy.
Yeah, we got to get mad. We got to have a little fun out here right there. Like I said, now I'm intrigued about Daniels and Mr. Bo going forward with that. I
got to get my co-host on because he'll probably ride Bo Nix's coattails. Terrell, you're like you already know that I'm not 100% committed, and when you're not 100% committed in a relationship, you should probably just fucking dump them. So.
So you go ahead and crawl back to your ex and beg for forgiveness, but she wants you back too, baby.
She definitely wants me back because who else do they got arguing for him right now? Chris Collinsworth?
Who was the girl that? Who was it? Was it Stafford's wife that made another comment about Burrow saying that the Bengals are wasting his career like Stafford was with the Lions?
Yeah, somebody definitely made that comparison, and the fact that they both wear number 9 doesn't help that comparison.
Yeah.
It's also bad. Like I said, leading passer in the NFL, leading receiver in the NFL, and your defense is so goddamn awful that they can't do shit.
I mean, there was a lot of loser of the week candidates this week. I thought Richardson was bad for the Colts. There was a few guys out that were bad. The Giants, like you already mentioned, they were pathetic as well. And then the Cardinals, Murray, you got a pass this week on loser of the week, so you're pretty bad there too. So, all right, well, good show, guys. We got Eagles, Rams. It's still 20-7, right? We haven't had anything happen the last 2 minutes. So
Rams are driving.
I got to say this before we get off. So the last 2 Sundays we've done the show, and the team that's been up by halftime by a decent amount has come back and lost. Are we?
Yes.
We're about to lose it, and we're about to get off.
Don't say come back and lost because the Chargers won last week, even though they almost gave up the comeback.
Rams win.
You're right. We have the big comeback both times, Jimmy. I'm like, we think the Bengals are they come back. You're thinking the Rams come back, but all right, we got Rams come back. I will see. I don't know, Jimmy. You think the Rams come back or Eagles finish this game?
Like I said, Saquon Barkley is one of the best closers in the NFL. Right. If they can keep him rolling, but I will say, watching that game up until we started going live here, the Rams offense was able to drive all over that Eagles defense. So,
1 point win. 1 point win.
21-20?
Yes.
I'm hoping we get some drama here as we.
Look, if that shit happens, y'all gonna be on Thanksgiving like, damn, Terrell said 4 upsets. I don't know, bro.
It's a good thing I don't bet my own money anymore, Terrell, because you would have had me putting like, oh yeah, no, I'll pay for everybody's Christmas presents with a 4-leg underdog parlay.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, don't put your faith, please, in the Raiders.
I don't bet my own money. If my parents are listening to this show, I don't bet my own money. Trust me. I'm just broke because I'm a teacher and a coach.
Coach P does not bet his own money. We do that. Hey, guys, on a serious note, though, have a good Thanksgiving, all right? Appreciate you guys all.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Terrell, but hopefully we can keep this rolling with you Sunday here with it. Brian, been fun getting you back on every week, too, as we kind of finish up the season. Jimmy, like I said, we've been doing every show here for a while here, so hope you and your family have a good, safe Thanksgiving and safe travel back to Colorado as well.
I got one last shout out. I thank you. Appreciate the safe travels. I think a majority of our team has already left, but I do have one shout out because I think I was telling you guys earlier before we started going live. We played an all-star team from Oklahoma. We played an all-star team from Missouri, and we're just some little rinky-dink league team. Like, we didn't pick up any new kids. We brought all the same kids that we've had on our roster. A couple of them couldn't make it out. We didn't bring anybody new, and that Oklahoma team, they're good. They definitely deserve to win. We ended up taking second in this tournament. But the fact that we were able to lose yesterday morning, fight all the way back through the bracket to get to the championship game this morning, I feel like those boys did so much more growth than they could have playing in Colorado this weekend, winning our league championship by 70. So all whatever else you want to say, putting these boys in that situation where they had to figure out who they are, like reach down, grab their nuts, for lack of a better term. And I know I'm talking about, it's young football players, but they had to reach down inside themselves and be able to figure out a way.
They got baby nuts.
They got baby nuts down there. We were down 30-0 with 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter. We told them, hey, you got 3 minutes left in your season. What do you want to do? That game ended 30-7. All kudos to Oklahoma because you guys did what you needed to do. You guys were definitely the best team in the tournament. We were the only team that scored on them the entire time. But I want to give my boys a shout out because they did not let that scoreboard end at 0. They fought till the very damn end, and a few of them really showed me a lot. So moving into 8th grade and high school, we got a few college players coming from Colorado. I'm very proud of those boys.
Shout out there. As we get to it, Thanksgiving here. Jimmy, that's very cool that you get to travel with a team like that. You get to coach guys at that level. I also get to coach. This is probably definitely the best team I've ever coached too in junior high. So I'm like, I better enjoy these little things where you get like, we have a good team. When you have a good team, you take it for granted sometimes. Like, don't
teach them as much as you can. All those lessons that are way over that you think they're way over their head right now. Teach them those lessons because all I think about coaching these boys is like the coaches that I've had coming up, and they were older, and they gave me a lesson like 4 or 5 years before I was ready to learn it. But the fact that it showed up later on in life, like I owe a lot of credit to the coaches that I've had. So coaches, teachers, anybody that's working on the future of this country and the future of the human race, teach them the lessons. Like, don't sugarcoat them. Don't put kid gloves on them. They're old enough. They can handle shit. Like they'll figure something out if they need to.
No doubt. No, well said, man. Well said. And with that, I would be amen. Let's eat some turkey. That's how we'll do it. So we'll end the show there with it. Terrell, you have a good one. Your family, have a good Thanksgiving.
Hey, happy Thanksgiving, guys. Appreciate y'all, man.
Jimmy,
always love.
We'll see you guys next week. Peace.